this is the first ever World of Darkness, well, not the first World of Darkness podcast, but the first guild uh,
Oh
podcast
Lord.
for World of Darkness, I would assume. I don't know. But, uh, yes, we are Saligia. My handle goes by Virgil, and I am a avid or average, well, not average. I could say I'm a hardcore MMO player, RPer, uh, geek, whatever. Well, that's me, and my co-host here is Gaius, and he will explain more about himself right now.
Hello. I'm Gaius. I have been RPing for 9 years. I got Virgil into RPing, well, 9 years ago. Let's see, what else? I played a few games, and I have the prestigious title of being the worst League of Legends player of all time.
Aye, that he is a horrible League of Legends player. But anyway, this is about the World of Darkness. If you don't know what the World of Darkness is, it's pretty much uh, a world, well, not, yeah, I would guess modern fantasy world, filled with darkness, darkness, vampires, werewolves. Yeah, I'll link the wiki in the description. But I mean, pretty much it's where typical werewolves, vampires,
It's a it's a
mummies.
dark fantasy. That's what it is.
Yeah, dark fantasy pretty much, and people LARP. LARP is live action roleplay. People roleplay.
It
Forum
was a
roleplay,
tabletop game.
game roleplay. Yeah, it's a lot of people tabletop. There's actually a card. There's actually card games for it. Um, but anyway, uh, let's see. What do I have written down here? Uh,
What's Saligia?
okay.
Explain what Saligia
Yeah,
is. That's what we
All
gotta do.
right. So, Saligia is a role-playing guild, hardcore role-playing guild, and we pretty much are going to be surrounded. We're surrounding ourselves with roleplay. So we are going to PvP and PvE, but usually we're going to take roleplay and add it to PvE and PvE. So, for example, we'll probably have a gang fight or something like that, which would be PvP. Or if we're going out to hunt humans that'd probably be PvE, stuff like that. But we'll go over the lore and uh, all that stuff and in another podcast. But this one in particular is about roleplay in the World of Darkness. Uh, so we have some questions that or discussion points that Gaius will mention.
Yeah, I'll start with the first question. We have to do with the company's previous endeavor was Eve Online, which has absolutely incredible character creation. It looks beautiful. It works beautiful in the game, among many other grand aspects of that game. And from what we've seen so far with World of Darkness, it seems for the most part that has carried over. CCP Gaming has even hired a fashion consultant to, what I assume, work on the clothing and whatnot within World of Darkness. I just wanted to hear your point of view, Virgil, of what you thought would come out of this in terms of role-play benefits from realistic but also very diverse cast of characters that would exist in the MMO.
Well, depending on how much versatility we get with character creation, um, it really depends on how your clothing and uh, I guess looks and what else? Hairstyles, whatever. Uh, I guess that all depends. Hopefully it's not going to be like Star Wars Galaxies. You pick three freaking body types and then you kind of
Mm-hmm.
just go into the game. Like I'm kind of hoping we get to uh pick a pretty wide variety of clothing at the beginning, which can kind of start people off with some pretty decent role play. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
I would hope at this point in the lifespan of MMO gaming that we would be starting people off with more than a bunch of faces and a bunch of different, like 5 faces and 3 groups of facial hairs. And I would like to get more of a, I mean, the last game I played that I'm thinking of, I hate to mention another game in this, but like Skyrim, or that kind of level of, maybe not to that level, but where you can actually create someone rather than just throw a bunch of Mr. Potato Head pieces together and create something that's supposed to be your avatar in World of Darkness. I think if you can create something that diverse out of a bunch of little pieces and a bunch of little factors that you can change on your own, you get to create something that would really represent you in a gaming or especially a role-playing environment, rather than having, like you said, 3 body types, 7 faces, and something else. So you end up everywhere around you are people that look exactly like you, and that ruins the immersion.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, I totally agree with you, but I remember seeing um there was a video of some carbon, technology. I think that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw.
and judging by that, I mean, I'll put it up in the video that will be, that you're probably watching right now. Uh, so yeah, this is the carbon testing, and I mean, it looks pretty awesome. It's pretty realistic, and I don't think I've ever seen to that extent with the hair moving and the clothing. Uh, I mean, it looks pretty amazing. What do you got to say about that?
It looks great. It looks absolutely great. I just hope that as beautiful as it looks, because it's a woman in the picture, as beautiful as it looks, that there is a diversity to that, as I said. So you can have that level of detail, and hopefully you will, and that level of beauty and detail with every single choice, yet everything that you create is still diverse, and it actually looks like you're in a major city populated by humans and demonic monsters that want to eat them. Rather than just, well, there's another body type 3, and so I really hope that the technology is there, not only to make it look realistic and make it great, but the will of the company to actually put the effort beyond aesthetics to give the characters life in their own diversity and their own difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. We don't want those body types, that's for sure. Um, well, I mean, we definitely want the height and weight versatility, but I don't want to choose between 3 different body types. That's for sure.
What's it called, the scroll, the little scroll bars where you
Yeah,
get to.
definitely the scaling bar. I love that. But
I think we
anyway,
covered that.
let's go to the next question.
I know you had something that you wanted.
Um, there was actually something I wanted to bring up that we didn't discuss before the podcast. What the hell was I gonna say? Uh, shit, I forgot. But anyway, I'll say the next question. Um, will roleplay be at all a focus for the World of Darkness Online, or will it mainly be PvP or PvE oriented? I know they said that politics is going to play a big role in the game, but that's not necessarily roleplay. That could be more just, talking with people, trying to get just talking to people and trying to, if it's guild oriented, to become a prince. Um, then you would probably just advertise your guild to people, not necessarily role play. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
My thought is, oh, I'm sorry, that kind of got cut off. My thought is, World of Darkness and vampires and all their little things mostly started at the tabletop, and then it evolved into a wider range of RP platforms. To not prioritize the RP community wouldn't only be a misstep, I think it would be a betrayal for the people that have been following the franchise for a very long time, especially after doing so well with EVE Online, which, to be honest, I don't know how the RP is in EVE Online, but that's not important. I would think coming out of that tabletop RPG background and then adding a political system. I hate to say it, but I don't want Iceman 752 running one of these cities and just doing it so he can make more money or more whatever it is for a gaming purpose. I would like to think that most of the people that are taking charge of these large areas are doing so with a story in mind, or with a story at least of their character in mind. And that's what I hope. And I know that's not going to be always on every server, but I hope that if when we and Saligia Guild and other RP guilds settle on a server where we will coexist, that we will either have it set for us to RP, or we will be able to, on our own, make it an RP server, just of the nature of the mass majority of people operating on it prioritize the story, whatever story that might be.
Yeah, for sure. But I do believe they're using the single shard technology, which means it's pretty much one server. Um,
Right.
so I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that would play, and I'm sure. I mean, I really hope they kind of enforce roleplay at some degree. Um, but if they don't, I can already tell you that Iceman 33 or whatever it was is gonna be a prince at some point. I mean, maybe
Well,
if
then
we
we'll do
kind
it
of
the
get
old-fashioned way.
all the roleplay guilds. Sorry, was
That's what I'm thinking. If I think we're going to keep changing numbers. If Iceman 33 or 17 or whatever takes control, we could say like either in character, we would take it out of character to sort of bring the idea together, and then in character say, look, we got to kill that guy, and then we'll settle the differences later. But I think if the communities, especially the RP communities, interconnect themselves either through Twitter or some sort of ambassadorship on each other's sites and forums, where we can communicate. We said, look, we don't want them taking the server and just turn it into like whatever they want. They want to get the highest level of armor, and they want to get the highest level of whatever it is, or they want to control this and that. We could say, look, we'll kill them. We'll make up a story on our own. We'll kill them, and then we'll settle who gets it later, and then we'll fight over that, rather than like, oh, I guess we got to let the 16-year-old who has the idiot. I'm completely rambling now. The thing is, we'll sort of either police it ourselves on it in an area, either designate an area for ourselves to work with mostly, like we'll take New Orleans maybe or whatever, or we'll just maybe just get the luck of the crowd, and maybe most places will be RP'd because that would be the kind of people that end up following the franchise.
all right, very true, very true. So, well, the real question is, they will? Do you think it will be a focus? Do you think, personally, do you think it will be a focus of CCP to enforce roleplay and reward roleplay? Do you think that might happen?
Honestly, you want my honest opinion? No,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think so.
exactly. I don't think so either.
I think CCP, and as much as they might have EVE Online, and I'm going to keep citing this because that's really the only source I have for the what ifs. Unlike Second Life, where money, there was a lot of, it's not DLC because it's online, but there's a lot like in-game purchases. There's lots of, so I'm like, it kind of scares me. Like, are these guys just doing this because they have sort of a big franchise again, and they can sort of micromanage rather than, so I don't think it will be. I really I hope so much that it is, because it wasn't a priority for um, a lot of games, and a lot of games got hurt by that, in my opinion, especially with how big this single community is.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, we've seen all these mainstreaming, MMOs coming out where, they don't give a shit about role players, and it's kind of sad. I mean, I'm really hoping CCP. I know Eve is a really hardcore game and everything like that, but I really hope that CCP adds the like a roleplay factor in the game. not it's hard to explain. I don't know exactly how that could be enforced or rewarded, but I really do hope they can think of something to bring that alive and bring more people into roleplay, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, from what I looked into, the only thing that really gives me hope is that I believe, and this could be wrong, but I believe I read it today, that CCP and White Wolf sort of merged, and that White Wolf now exists within CCP Gaming. So I'm kind of hoping that there's a consciousness that now exists within that gaming company that's in the form of White Wolf saying, hey, if you're going to do this, this is sort of, you got to stick with the mold. You have to sort of let our fan base that has been doing it in all these different formats and all these different ways in terms of RP, you got to let them do it here. You can't screw them over. And I hope that that's being done. I know, sort of a side note, CCP is doing they're doing the testing of the game internally within their own company. So what that means, I don't know. I hope there's people in the company either within CCP or White Wolf or any other, whatever subsidiaries are looking into this, are looking at what World of Darkness is and has been rather than what it can become when micromanaged.
Yeah, I got you on that one. All right, let's go to the next question. I think you had another question for.
Well, first thing is, I like how there's absolutely no conflict in this discussion at all. There's no disagreements. It makes the podcast go much faster.
That's very true. Well, we'll bring in more people, maybe some special guests next time, maybe some people from WAD News. I know they have their own podcast. I'm sorry, guys, we're not trying to, you know, rule you or what I mean. We're just kind of doing our own guild thing, and But anyway, so
Our
you had a
secret
question.
plan is to our secret plan is to destroy you, but you're not allowed to know that yet. No.
That's our jihad, yeah. But
No,
anyway,
that's not true.
what's
Back to
what was your question?
my question is: from what we know, the two, I'm going to call them races, just for this game. I'm going to call them races that you can play as are humans and vampires, and I assume there's going to be a bunch of vampire clans that exist under the vampire racial name. But there's supposedly going to be NPCs that exist that show the other races that exist in the White Wolf World of Darkness universe. Most likely, probably werewolves. There's a whole list of so many races and stuff as they go into Garbo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, because I'm always the person, I love lore, I love learning about sort of the expanded universe of things through the stupid books and the little things you can read, and I'm wondering that will CCP Gaming sort of take the Star Wars Old Republic route and say, hey, we can expand the lore. We can put more stuff in this that hasn't been in it before, and we can sort of widen the brand and have people who are playing it learn more about not just the game, but the whole franchise. Give their own take on certain things that add more fresh blood into the lore itself. Which if that's gonna happen, I'm gonna be incredibly interested in learning all those little things hidden around.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I do believe that they are going to expand for sure on the lore. I mean, maybe at some point we'll even go into we'll find some Garu, which is a werewolf, which what the werewolf's called, and we'll maybe we'll learn some more about the Garu, and maybe we'll learn about Gaia and all that kind of stuff, and that hasn't been seen too much in a game before. I mean, I remember there was a werewolf game that didn't get released or whatever, but I would love to see some more werewolf stuff. Maybe we go and fight some werewolves. I don't know. I digress. But so yeah. You have anything else to say on that?
One thing, sort of, just not really talking about the lore, but one of the NPCs. I really hope that a lot of these other kinds of creatures that exist, especially the intelligent ones that exist, aren't diminished to being grinding enemies. Like, I don't want to see a quest line that says, go into the basement, of the old strip club and kill the 10 werewolves that exist in there, or like there's stuff like that. And like, well, no, like that might happen and it's a game and probably will, but I don't want to see how the excess of this. You are going to murder this many of this thing because I'm like, no, if we want to play as those later, we can't. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, judging by how CCP is handling everything and talking to us about it, it seems like they're not going to do any of that. Um,
I hope so.
but they say there's three ways to play the game. I think it was sandbox, which is pretty much you can walk around, do whatever you want. Uh, it's open world. And then there's theme park where it's like WoW, where that's like kill 10 rats, kill the dreaded kill 10 rats. And then there's the more social aspect, which is coffee shop, which would be like Second Life, where you're chilling in a club or something like that, and you're just talking. Uh, so yeah, I don't think it will necessarily be the kill 10 rats and just go through this story like that. I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be a lot more dark, and I think it's going to be a lot more intriguing. Maybe something close to like, was it Secret World, where their quests were really cool. Like maybe you had to solve some puzzles. I don't know, but yeah. So anything else you have to say about that one?
I hope it's dark. It's friggin' World of Darkness. Um, but I would actually. I mean, you played Secret World for a while, and I liked watching that because you walk down the road and see, well, there's a police car and somebody's dragged out of it and there's blood everywhere. Let's go figure out what's going on. Like that sounds really fun, especially in World of Darkness where
Yeah, for sure.
Lord knows what killed the bastard.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know how long we've been doing this for, but um, I think we're done. I think we asked all our questions and answered and discussed as much as we could. Um, Next time we will do. Are you done? Are you done? Or do you want to still talk?
Um, I'm done. I mean, you can give the guild site information. Hopefully, like get this out there a bit.
All right. So yeah, we are Saligia. You can find us at www.saligiaroleplay.com. Um, or Saligia, yeah, www.saligiaroleplay.com or Saligia Roleplay /forum, which is our forum. Um, so you can find us there. Uh, we accept people who will put in applications. And we'll go into I'll go into more um I'll go into more detail in another podcast about the whole guild and everything. But this podcast was mainly about some role play and some role play ideas. But that's pretty much it. I mean, nothing else you got to say, right?
I would want to say that we are willing to take in all levels of roleplay experience. I mean, me and you have been doing this for 9 years. I mean, there could be people that's been doing it 2 weeks. Well, like, here, if you don't think your RP is good enough or whatever, that's nonsense. Come in. We'll help you in anything. We'll tell you how you can improve and whatnot. And, because we need as many, this is an RP site, and this is going to be an RP guild. We need as many storytellers as possible to make this work.
Yes, very true, very true. We will accept you no matter if you haven't even role played ever. We'll still accept you, and we will accept you if you never do plan to role play. All you need to put an application in, and we will siphon you into one of our places. But you will never have to role play if you never want to. But an application is always needed. But that's about it. I guess we can say our goodbyes. I'm Virgil, and my
Guys,
co-host is Gaius. Yep. Have a wonderful day, I guess.
have a wonderful day.